Hello, today's video is video 5.3. We're going to be talking about multiplying decimals. So multiplying decimals has these standards. I can multiply decimals and I can estimate to check for reasonableness. That means I can check to see that my answer sounds about right. And the standard is 6NS3. Fluently add, subtract, multiply, and divide multi-digit decimals using the standard algorithm for each operation. Put myself in corner there. So multiplying decimals. To multiply decimals, multiply as if the decimals are not there. After you have your answer, place the decimal in your answer. So you don't worry about the decimal place until you put your answer in. The number of decimal places is going to equal the sum of the number of decimal places in the factors. So let's take a look at an example. Delilah bought 3.5 pounds of peppers. The peppers cost $1.99 per pound. What was the total cost of Delilah's peppers? So this is a multiplication question. When you have the word total in a problem, it can either mean adding or it can mean multiplying. In our case, we want to multiply because we have the word per pound right here, per pound. So per indicates to me that every pound is going to cost $1.99, so I'm going to multiply it by the number of pounds. So step one is to multiply, pretending again that the decimal is not there. So $1.99 or 1.99 and 3.8. Notice how I put the number with more digits, 1.99, on the top. And I put 3.8 below it, starting from the right side. Now $1.99 is less than 3.8. However, it has more numbers. It has more digits, 1, 2, 3 digits versus 2 digits. I'm pretending like the decimal isn't there, and I'm just lining up my numbers as if there's no decimal. So now, I said that already, put the number with more digits on the top, and then we start multiplying. 9 times 8. And if you need your multiplication chart, that's fine. Just don't use a calculator. Then you're going to start getting to know some of these facts. 9 times 8 is 72. So I'm going to put down the 2, and I'm going to carry the 7. So now I'm going to do 8 times 9 again, but this is the other 9. So that's another 72. And then I'm going to add this 7. So 72 plus 7. So 79, put down the 9 and carry the 7. Now I'm going to multiply the 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8, and I'm going to add the 7 that I carried. 8 plus 7 is 15. I have no more numbers to carry, so my 15 goes in the front there. This thing here, let me get my spotlight, is called a partial product. So now we're going to finish with another partial product. That'll be the 3 times each number. It's very important when you're multiplying that you keep everything in line. Okay, I do 3 times 9. That's 27. Now I'm going to start my answer under the 3. So under the 9 in this 3 row, because I'm multiplying everything by 3 now. Before I started over here because I was multiplying everything by 8. But now that I'm multiplying by 3, my number has to start here. Most students make mistakes by putting the number here. So if you think you're going to make that mistake, you can either put an X here so you don't fill it in by mistake, or you could put a 0. A lot of people put a 0 there. That can tend to get confusing, I think, sometimes. But it's better than putting it in the wrong place. So it has to start, my number answer has to start right under this 9 and under this 3. So we said 3 times 9 was 27. Put down the 7. I have to move that. Carry the 2. So now when I carry the 2, I cross off the 7 from the first round. So I'm not using that anymore. So I don't want to think that I am. So then I cross it off and put the 2 here. Now I have to do 3 times the second 9. That's another 27. So I put down, oh, but I got 2 more to add. So 3 times 9 is 27 plus the 2, 29. So I put down a 9 and I carry the 2. And again, I'm going to cross off this 7 from the previous example. And now I have a 2 here. So now I do 3 times 1. That's 3 plus the 2 up here. That's 5. And now I'm ready with my partial products to add them up. Notice how my 7 started under the 3. It didn't start over here. Lots of kids make that error. So let's add now. 2 plus nothing is 2. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 9 plus 5 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. Put down the 5 and carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to put down the 7. And now it's time to figure out how to put the decimal in. Remember, we forgot about the decimal until now. So now we have our answer. So we have to look at how many numbers are after this decimal here and how many numbers after this decimal. And we have to total that up. And then we'll need 1, 2, 3. We're going to need 3 numbers after the decimal in our answer. So let's take a look at that. Put the decimal in your final answer. So 2 decimal places in that number and 1 decimal place in that number. 2 plus 1 is 3 decimal places. So it's assumed that the decimal starts at the end of the number, and then we go to the left, the number of places that is needed. So since we need 3, we're going to go to the left 3 jumps. So it's starting there, 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps. And that's the new spot for our decimal. So the true answer is 7.562. 7 and 562 thousandths. So because we're talking about money rather than just plain decimal, we're going to keep it, we're going to round it to the penny. So $7.56 is how much it costs for the peppers. The 2 doesn't really make a lot of sense to add that in because you don't have a fraction of a penny in our money system. So the peppers cost $7.56. Okay. How can you check if your answer seems reasonable? Does $7.56 seem about the right amount? Well, let's talk about it. $1.99 is about very, very, very close to $2. It's 1 cent off, right? And 3.8 is about $4. So we would multiply the approximate $2 times $4 and we would get $8. So the exact answer again was $7.56, and this is close to our estimate of $8. So we have a reasonable answer, so our multiplication has been done correctly. If we got like $75.62, let's say we put the decimal in the wrong place, and our estimate was $8, we would say, wait a minute, how can my estimate be $8 and my answer be $75.62? I must have done something wrong. They have to be close together. So that's how we can check for reasonableness. Okay, I got a video, it looks like. I think I have to copy it. So let me see. This one wouldn't let me post it in my actual presentation. So let's copy it over. Let's do a new Control V. Okay, it's a multiplying decimal song. Yay! At least I think that's what it is. Should be.
When school isn't a place you have to be, why not go to school where remote learning can be as remote as you want?
That's pretty remote, huh? Okay. Here we go. See if it turns up at all.
Let's use our number sense to multiply 9 and 100 by 5 and 1/10. We multiply the 1 to get 109. In the next place value, there's a 5. Next holds the place on the second line. We get a 5, a 0, and a 45. Write a line, a plus sign, tally up the score. To get 1595
Let's think about the reasonableness of our answer by rounding to a simpler number. Then we can easily see where the point needs to be.
Now let's get intense and multiply 92 hundredths by 3 and 2 tenths. Multiply the 2, get 4 and 18. And the next place value is a 3. Write an X to hold the place, and then we get a 6 and a 27. Add it up to get 4, 4, a 9 and a 2, and there's one step more.
Let's think about the reasonableness of our answer by rounding to a simpler number. Then we can easily see where the point needs to be.
Here's another way to place the point worth trying. Look at the numbers you are multiplying. Count the number of decimal places in the product who've left that many spaces.
Let's think about the reasonableness of our answer by rounding to a simpler number. Then we can easily see where the point needs to be. Let's think about the reasonableness of our answer by rounding to a simpler number. Then we can easily see where the point needs to be.
All right.
Visit numberrock.com for exclusive content, lesson materials, and more.
Okay, numberrock.com. Okay, how do I exit? There, we're going to escape. And we'll go back to our presentation. Where did my presentation go? There we are. Press present. And we'll move on. Okay, it's your turn to try some multiplication questions. See you back in a moment. Okay, hopefully you answered those questions and you're ready to move on. So let's talk about another word problem. Blades of grass grow 3.75 inches per month. If the grass continues to grow at this rate, how much will the grass grow in 6.25 months? Notice we've got the word per in here again, per month, and that's how much it's going to grow every month. And then this is the number of months. So we're going to multiply the two numbers together. So the number with more digits, it's going to go on top. Well, does it matter? Not in our case, because both numbers have 3 digits. So let's pretend the decimals aren't there, and we're going to line up our numbers. So we got to put a 5 under a 5, and the 2 under the 7, and the 3 under the 6. And then we're going to multiply. So we're going to start with 5 times 5 is 25. Put down the 5 and carry the 2. Then we're going to do 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2 more, 37. So we're going to put down the 7 and carry the 3. Then we're going to do 5 times 3, 15 plus 3 more, 18. There's our first partial product. Where are we going to start our next number when we start multiplying by the 2? Exactly, we're going to start it underneath the 2. My 7 seems to be a little off. The 7 should be under this row right here. I'm going to put an X here. Try to keep things as straight as possible. Okay, so let's do 2 times 5. That's 10. So I'm going to put down the 0 and carry the 1. In the meantime, I'm going to cross off the old 2 that I used the first round. So now I'm going to do 2 times 7. That's 14 plus 1 more, that's 15. Put down the 5 and carry the 1. Crossing off the 3 because that was from the first round. Now I do 2 times 3 is 6 plus the 1 I carried. That makes 7. And now I add them up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've got a 6 to go. So now let's talk about that for a second. I want my answer for the 6. When I multiply the 6 times each number, I want it to go underneath the 6. So my numbers are a little bit messed up. I'm going to go back for a second and fix that because they're a little bit off center. So let's fix this one if I can. Move it over just a tad. Does that help? Yeah, I think that puts it all back where it's supposed to be a little bit better. Be very careful. Using graph paper is helpful. So if you feel like using graph paper to make sure your numbers, make sure your numbers line up, you can do that. Okay, now let's put it back in present mode. We'll catch up to where we were. We were multiplying the 6 times each number. By the way, you guys can do this with your science presentation if you want, put all these animations in. Okay, now I'm ready to start the 6. 6 times 5. So I'm going to put another X because I have to start it under the 8 and the 5 and the 6. They're all supposed to be lined up. So I don't want to start here and I don't want to start here. So I'll put those 2 X's in there. So 5 times 6 is 30. Put down the 0 and carry the 3. Notice how I cancel the second round number off because now I have a 3. So now I'm going to do 6 times 7, 42 plus 3 more. 43, 44, 45. Put down the 5 and carry the 4. Cross off the number from the previous round. So now I do 3 times 6 plus 4. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And now I'm ready to add all my partial products. So 5 plus nothing is just 5. 7 plus 0 plus nothing is 7. 8, now be careful, I got this not quite lined up. 8 plus 5 plus 0 is 13. Put down the 3, carry the 1. Here I carried it. 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 1 is 13, plus 1 is 14. Put down the 4, carry the 1. Now I have 2 plus 1 is 3. And then finally I have 2 plus nothing is 2. Now I have to figure out where to put my decimal. So I look at the first number up above. And it's got 2 decimal places after it. I also look at the second number that has 2 decimal places. So I know my answer has to have 4 decimal places. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I start at the end of the number and I'm going to jump 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's where my decimal goes. 23.4375. Now, when the video was talking about thinking about the reasonableness of your answer, that's a really good idea. 3.75 is about $4, and 6.25 is about $6. If I multiply 4 times 6, I get $24, right? So if I'm thinking about the reasonableness of my answer, it can tell me where to put my decimal. So if I were doing this, I wouldn't want to put the decimal here, because then I would have 23,437. I have to have something close to 24. So then I could try putting the decimal here, but if I put it here, now I've got 2,343.75. I have to be at 24. So that's not going to work. So then I could think, well, maybe I have to put the decimal right here. Now I'm at 234.375. So 234 is higher than 24 by a lot. So then I can say, oh, well, I must have to try putting the decimal here. That gives me 23 point something. So 23 here is awful close to our estimate of 24. So that's how we can check the reasonableness of our answer. So that is the answer, 23.4375 inches. The grass will grow 23 and 4,375 10,000ths of an inch in 6 and 25/100 months. Just reading those decimals for you. Okay, here's the same problem. How can you check to see that your answer is reasonable? Well, we already kind of did that. We said 3.75 is about 4 and 6.25 is about 6. So multiplying 4 times 6 is 24. The exact answer was 23.4375, and this is very close to the estimate of 24. So the multiplication was done correctly. Okay, you get to try a problem like this, maybe 2. See you back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. Let's focus on some higher order thinking. To estimate the product, 3.48 times 7.33. She's estimating now. She's not getting the exact answer. Marissa multiplied 4 times 8 to get 32. Explain how she can make a closer estimate. what would you do to make a closer estimate? Is 7.33 closer to 7 or closer to 8? It's closer to 7, isn't it? And 3.48 is very, very close to 3.5, right? So that would give us a better estimate. Let's see. So 3.48 is closer to 3 than to 4. We'll just say 3. And then 7.33 is closer to 7 than to 8. So 3 times 7 is 21. The actual answer is 25.5081. Rounding the numbers correctly creates a closer estimate. If we were to round this to 3.5, we'd get an even closer estimate. So if we were to do 3.5 times 21, what would we get that way? Well, I have to do it vertically. So 21 times 3.5, and I pretend like the point's not there now until I get done multiplying. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. If I want to, I can put my X here so I don't forget. And 2 times 3 is 6. And I can add that up and I get 5, 3, 7. And then one spot after the decimal. Is that one spot? Where did I get 21? What am I multiplying? Oh, I shouldn't be multiplying by 21. I should be multiplying by 7. Undo. Let's try that again. I was multiplying by the answer. That's silly. Okay, so 3.5 times 7. That's better. My goodness, I had a really big number. 5 times 7 is 35. Put down the 5, carry the 3. 3 times 7 is 21, 22, 23, 24. I have one number past the decimal, so I need to put it right here. So 24.5, and our real answer was 25.5. So we are very close. So that's how you can get closer. Estimation is a great skill to have. Okay. A jeweler buys gold jewelry and resells the gold to a refinery. The jeweler buys gold for $1,235.55 per ounce and then resells it. So when the jeweler buys it for that price, they resell it for more because they want to make a profit, right? So they're going to resell it for $1,376.44 per ounce. This is what they purchased it for. This is what they sell it for. When my kids were younger, they would put together a lemonade stand every summer and they would sell lemonade and brownies. And I told them they had to make a little bit of a profit. So I had to go to the store and buy the brownies and the lemonade mix and the sugar and the eggs for the brownies and the oil for the brownies. And I was spending my money doing that, right? So I told them they had to charge a little bit more for the brownies than what I spent for them. So that's what this jeweler's doing. He's charging more money than what he spent when he bought the gold. So how much profit does the jeweler make? His profit is how much extra he made in addition to his cost from buying and reselling 73.5 ounces of gold. He must be a rich guy if he can buy 73.5 ounces of gold, right? So this is a multiplication question first, and it's also a two-step. So we also have to do some subtracting. So cost to buy the gold, $1,235.55 times 73.5 ounces. That's how much he bought. This is a big multiplication problem. Are you up for it? Pause the video if you want and try it. See if you get what I get. Okay, we're going to multiply 5 times 5. I don't know if I put the answer in there. Oh, over here, the selling price is $1,376.44 times the same amount, 73.5. So let's see, I'm just going to do this. 5 times 5 is 25. Put down the 5. Carry the 2. I got to be very careful now. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. Down the 7 and carry the 2. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. Put down the 7 and carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2, 16, 17. Put down the 7 and carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Put down the 1 and carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 more is 6. That's just the first row. And just for sake of clarity, I'm going to erase these numbers now because I'm going into the second round. So now I'm going to start with 3 times 5. Okay, 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to put an X here so I don't mistakenly put my number under this number. So 15 is put down the 5, carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16, carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16, put down the 6, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10, put down the 0 and carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And finally, 3 times 1 is 3. I'm going to erase these numbers again so we can do our third round. So we have 7 times 5. Now I want to put 2 X's there because I got to start under the 7. So 7 times 5 is 35. I'm going to put down my 5 and I'm going to carry my 3. Then I get 5 times 7 is 35 plus 3, 36, 37, 38. Put down the 8 and carry the 3. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 3 is 36, 37, 38. Put down the 8 and carry the 3. 3 times 7 is 21, 22, 23, 24. Carry the 2. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. And then a 3. And I'm just going to double check that I didn't, oh, then a 7. I'm on the 3s. Just want to double check that I didn't use the 3 by mistake. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3, 35, 36, 37, 38, carry the 3, 35, 36, 37, 38, carry the 3, 21, 22, 23, 24, carry the 2, 14, 15. Oh, here I did. 2 times 7 is 14, 15, 16. So there's my one error. So that's for this one. 16, carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1, so that's going to be an 8. So it's good that I checked. I felt like I was doing something wrong there. And then we're going to add it all up. We're going to get a 5. We're going to get a 12. So put down the 2 and we're going to carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14 plus 5 more, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Put down the 9. Carry the 1. That's a 6, I think. 7 and 6 is 13 plus 1 is 14 plus 8 more. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Put down the 2. Carry the 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. Put down the 1. Carry the 1. 7 and 6 is 13 plus 1 is 14 plus 4. 15, 16, 17, 18. Put down the 8. Carry the 1. 6 plus 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Put down the 0. Carry the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Phew! Now where do I put the decimal? Well, there's 2 numbers past the decimal here, and there's 1 number past the decimal here. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to start down here, and I have to go 3 numbers past the decimal. 1, 2, 3, right here. So he's paying about 90,000, that's a comma there, $812.93, or we're going to round it to 93 because this 5 doesn't, there's no half a penny. And we would do the same thing for the other one. So I believe when I click, I'm going to get the answers there. So let's see. Yeah, so it gives us the answer. And let's clear that. And hopefully my answer is correct. That don't look correct, does it? What did I do? Did I make some error somewhere? Where's my phone? I want to use my calculator here. Pause for a minute and use my calculator. Got to find the pause button. There we are. Okay, I was just premature. That was just the number for the first digit 5. And then this is the number for the second digit. And then that's the number for the third digit. And I'm sure it's going to be 90,000 something. So if we add that all up, we get 90812,925. That's what we got when we did it with our own little pencil and paper there, or our computer screen, I should say. So now we have 3 numbers past the decimal. So there we are, $90,812.93. I hope that's what I got before. I don't know. If I didn't, I had something out of line there. And let's do that on the selling price for the gold as well. That should come up if I click. There it is. So there's the first partial product. That's 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2 is 22. Put down the 2, carry the 2. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 2 is 32. Put down the 2, carry the 3. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 3, 36, 37, 38. Put down the 8, carry the 3. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 3, 16, 17, 18, carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay. And then the second row would be multiplying the 3 times each number. And the third row would be multiplying the 7 times each number. And then we add our partial products. And we get 1011683440. How many numbers after the decimal? Well, there is 2 here. And there's 1 here. So again, 3 decimal places. So in the bottom number, it's going to go right here. So we have 3 numbers after the decimal. So now we got to figure out the profit. So we figured out how much it costs to buy the gold. We figured out how much he sells the gold for. Now let's see if we can figure out our profit. So that's a subtraction problem. So we have $10,168.34 minus $90,812.09, basically 93 cents. Subtract. And when we subtract, we get $10,355.415, so about 0.42. That is his profit by buying 73.5 ounces of gold. Do you want me to go through the subtraction? I think I should. You can't take 5 from 0, so you borrow from the 4 and make it a 3. This becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. You can't take a 9 from the 3, so you borrow from the 8 and make it a 7. This becomes 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. Then 7 minus 2 is 5. 6 minus 1 is 5. Can't take an 8 from a 1, so you go borrow from this 1 and make it a 0, and this becomes 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 0 minus 0 is 0, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So that's how we got $10,355 and approximately 42 cents when we round. There is our profit. Okay. And let's clear this. And it is time for me to say goodbye. Google Classroom has your homework, and I'll see you next time. Bye.